Hey, good evening, guys. This is Dave with Moneyology.com. Today is Wednesday, July 19th, and we're going to have a biotech review. So, bottom line is this sector is very, very hot. There's so many names that are jumping out at me on our longer-term charts, and we're in a lot of these names. Others that we'd like to get into, but simply don't have enough capital. But this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So do your due diligence, learn a little bit more about these companies, know your position sizing, and diversify, and good luck. So the first on the list is Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics, BCLI. This is one that's been consolidating for the better part of this 2017. The MACDs are starting to curl towards zero. RSI is in a very, very strong position above 61, and looks like it's curling higher to make a break towards that 69.70 area. I think that this is going to make a run towards 550 in the coming weeks, and ultimately I think this heads towards that to retest this 8.5 level. So one of the better, stronger looking names in the sector. Next on the list is Cannabis Pharmaceuticals, CNBX. Bottom line is the entire cannabis sector is really hot right now. If you want to have some high-flying names, that's a sector you want to be looking in. Almost every one of the stocks in our watch list is breaking out. But being that this is a pharmaceutical company, we want to take a look at this. It's been in a downtrend since basically since February of this year. It's finally broken out of this downtrend. Had this nice rally from about the 75 area, tagged 1.3, and then had a beautiful retrace from the upside to retest this downtrend, which is very bullish. Then it had a very nice hammer candlestick, and now it's consolidating above the 50 on the weekly EMA. I think that's a very positive development. In the coming days, the 50 on the weekly RSI is going to break, and when it does, we think that 140 is going to break to the upside, and this is ultimately going to make a run towards, frankly, I mean, you don't really know how much this can go, but I think it's going to tag that $7.60 in a not too distant future. So a name you want to definitely consider. Next on the list is Catalyst Pharmaceutical Partners, CPRX. Extremely overbought position here, but that's not a bad thing for a momentum trader. The stock has just been riding up its upper Bollinger Band. Not quite sure what happened this week, so definitely want to do your due diligence as to why it dropped, basically $1. And it's rallied. Perhaps it's some news. Anyway, the rally was on. The balance was on the support line over here that we had drawn out above about 215 area, above the 200 moving average, and above the middle Bollinger Band. And this is a great hammer candlestick. We think that a run towards 350 is definitely in the cards, and once 350 breaks, that would be the trigger to ride this for a wave higher towards $6. One that should definitely be on your radar. Cerulean Pharma, CERU. We had this really nice breakout from this downtrend in July on massive volume, and it met resistance on the 50 weekly EMA. Now it's flagging here in this bullish flag pattern right below the middle Bollinger Band on lower volume. The MACDs have curled across zero already, and this is what often happens: is the MACDs curl across zero, people get really excited, and there's a massive move. A lot of buyers, amateurs step in, and then the algorithms come in and start selling short, a lot of profit taking, and then that's when you get this low volume correction. But we like this correction so long as it stays above that 55 to 60 zone, and we think that ultimately it's going to break higher. The trigger would be that middle Bollinger Band around 73 cents. But when it breaks, it's going to break 50 on the weekly RSI. Our first target would be $1, and then ultimately we think this takes out the 50 EMA and makes a run towards 2. Next on the list is Cleveland Biolabs, CBLI. Beautiful pattern, beautiful corrective pattern after a really nice run up in April of this year, where it rallied from about just above 125 all the way to 550, and it's really been flagging here in this bullish pennant formation, and we think that now that it's consolidating around excuse me, around the 2 zone, we think that it's going to rally, make another attempt higher towards $5. Okay, so Cleveland Biolabs, CBLI, as I was mentioning, very bullish pennant pattern over here since it's high from 550, correcting all the way down to the 2.5 area. Notice the rally on massive volume, the correction on very limited volume, and it's finding support around this 250 line where it found support in the past here and resistance over here. So bottom line is it's also finding support on the 50 on the weekly RSI, which is very positive development. We think that this is going to start finding legs and making a run towards the $5 area in the coming weeks. So definitely one we like. Next on the list is Collaborix RNVA. This is one that's been in the gutter for a little while here, but MACDs are starting to curl, and look at the volume on these two weeks. So do your due diligence on this one, because it's been in the gutter and likely for a reason, but it's broken out of this downtrend since frankly May or March of this year. Now it's consolidating above that 30 to 35 level. If it finds some legs, we think that it can run pretty nicely, if nothing else than to tag this 50 level on the middle Bollinger Band, possibly as high as about, I'd say, $2 a share. So one you want to have on your radar. Combamatrix Corp, CBMX, one has had really nice momentum for the better part of this year. It's had a really nice consolidation above the $5 zone and above the middle Bollinger Band, and the Bollinger Band has been actually very tight, and that's something that you see before a big move in either direction. Why we think it's moving higher: the MACDs are curling higher, stochastics are curling higher, and the RSI is now headed back towards above that 60 zone, which is very bullish development. We think that this is going to make a run towards $10. Next on the list is Connexture, CNXR. This has been, if you draw at this this trend line here, take this all the way down, basically it's been in a downtrend since February, and it broke out around June area, and it's kind of retested that to the from the upside, and now it's finding legs, a couple of nice hammer patterns, and the MACDs are starting to curl towards zero. Stochastics are now above the 20 line. The RSI is making a move higher. Notice here, this is what you call divergence. RSI here is higher than RSI was when the price was closer to $1, and now we're only at 74 cents, but momentum is actually higher than when it was 20% higher in terms of price. So we think this is going to make a run towards $1 in the not too distant future, and possibly make a run towards testing that 50 EMA at the 160 level. Next on the list is CymaBay Therapeutical, CBay. Wow, what can you say? This is a really good looking stock. It was building momentum for a while here. Must have had some very positive development with something in its pipeline. And look at the volume. And MACDs are now firmly across zero and looking to build on this momentum. Now, while I wouldn't be surprised to see a correction towards $6, I think ultimately this is going to tag $9 as a first target, and ultimately possibly head towards $14. Definitely one that you either want to own or keep on your radar. Satori Therapeutics, AYTX. This is one that, if you've ever gone fishing and you feel like you've got the fish and then it just gets away from you every time, this is one that I've been stopped out of for several times now, and we think that this is ultimately going to make a run towards $2. Notice that while it's been consolidating here between 90 and 120, RSI has not been consolidating. It's been moving higher and building higher highs and higher lows, and now it's above 40. The MACDs are firmly above zero, and we think that for us this is a trigger buy above 120, and we think that this is going to make a very nice run in the coming weeks ahead. Cytosorbents, CTSO, one that's been rallying very strongly from the threes, middle threes. Now it's in the mid fives, and it's firmly above 50 on the weekly RSI. While we might see a pullback now that we've kind of hit that 200 EMA, couldn't break through it, and wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback and consolidation in this bullish flag formation around the 5 area. Look to possibly see the 50 RSI retested, but we think that this is going higher. First target is 6, and the next target is closer to $8 a share. Next on this list is, well, frankly, we already had Citrix Corp, I believe. Let me see here. No, that's Citrix. This is Citrix, CYTR. Another one of those has been basing for a long time. One of our favorite formations is a basing pattern with positive diverging momentum, and this is one that is definitely seeing that. Look at this, above the 50 middle Bollinger Band. RSI is consolidating above 50, very bullish. Right below the 50 weekly EMA, and we think that this is going to burst higher towards 1 to 150 in the coming weeks ahead. Next on the list is Dexterity Surgical, DXTR. Basing pattern, massive volume here over the last coming days. On the pullback, we've had lower volume. The MACDs are curling higher, and we think that this is going to make a run towards 50 cents in the coming weeks ahead. So a nice 100% move possibility, possibly as high as $1. So keep this one on your radar. Well, next and last on the list for this video is Dicerna Pharmaceuticals, DRNA. Look at this basing pattern for 2 years, between $2.50 and $5, and now it's starting to move. It broke above this downtrend here in July, and momentum has not stopped. It's going higher and higher. It's firmly above the 50 on the weekly RSI. We think this is headed towards $5 just as soon as it breaks the 50 EMA at 373. The MACDs are going to be breaking higher, and one that you definitely want to consider owning. Thanks again, guys, for watching. This is Dave with Moneyology. Please be sure to follow us on stocktwits.com at Moneyology and Twitter at Moneyology. Thanks, and good luck with your trading.